Hello everyone, this is Highlander from MTGC Cardsmith doing another custom Magic the Gathering card review, and today we're reviewing a card by jpastor. He sent me two cards that he said, let's go with two random cards this time from my collection. So these are two random cards from his collection. Well, one of two. The other one will be in another video. So what do we got here? We got a card called Cover the Ground in Blood. Oh boy. That's pretty metal. So this is a 4-mana sorcery at common. See what we got. For each creature that was dealt damage this turn, tap target land and opponent it controls. Okay. Bloodlust. Put a hold on. Is Bloodlust a real mechanic? Let me look this up before I read that. Bloodlust. No, it's not. Okay. Bloodlust. Put a -1/-1 counter on target creature you control. For as long as that creature has a -1/-1 counter on it, target land doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Okay. Well... Okay, so... How does this card work exactly? Okay, so let's say... Okay, so dealt damage can include a creature dying, right? So, okay, let's say you got a bunch of creatures and they have a bunch of creatures. You attack into their board, a bunch of trades happen, right? Maybe some things get chumped. You cast this, and it taps all of their lands, but they're probably tapped out already. And then you put a -1/- counter on a creature you control, and so you make one of your creatures weaker, but it keeps one of their lands tapped down. And this has to be a creature that probably didn't engage in combat at all. This card's pretty wacky. Okay, what is the best case scenario of this card? So the best case scenario of this is like you swing into their board, trade a bunch, you have one creature back, they have like counter a creature spell in hand. You play this, tap their lands down so they can't counter a creature spell anymore. And then put this counter on one of your creatures and it taps down one of their lands, and then you play a creature. But you've already paid 4 for this. I'm having a hard time seeing how you would actually get value out of this card. Also, I have to admit, this card doesn't seem very red. Like, you're tapping lands. I mean, I know red is land destruction, but tapping lands, I don't think that's really much of a red thing. Putting -1/-1 counters on creatures, especially your own, doesn't seem particularly red. Lands not in tapping doesn't seem... So overall, this card feels a little bit more blue to me, or blue, or maybe black, but certainly not red. For each creature was dealt damage this turn. I mean, maybe a better way to do this is to have, like... Oh boy. So, okay, maybe a better situation to play this would be you're playing a control deck. A control deck probably wouldn't want this, to be honest. But, okay, let's just say you're playing like a mid-range deck, and they've got a bunch of little creatures on the board, and then you play like a Pyroclasm and wipe their board, and then you play this. But it really doesn't matter, honestly. Like, you could actually... Okay, I think probably what you do is you actually just play this. It doesn't matter really how many creatures were dealt damage. They're going to have a land tap down more than likely. So, like, tapping lands on their turn doesn't really do much. Right? I mean, if they're holding something up, they can probably cast it before you cast this or in response to this anyway. And so, like, the tapping of their lands doesn't really do anything. And then you have to make one of your creatures smaller in order to keep their land tapped down. But in that case, this is just a much worse demolish, right? I mean, like, demolish is like a magic card that they've reprinted many times. It destroys an artifact for land. This basically does the same thing, except it can target an artifact and you don't have to make your creature smaller. So I kind of get the flavor of... the first ability. It's like, okay, this creature is dealt damage, therefore it's bleeding, and the land is covered in blood, so you tap it. I guess I kind of get that. The Bloodlust thing, I really don't understand why. I don't quite get the flavor of this, right? I mean, Bloodlust, why would Bloodlust put a -1/-1 counter on a creature you control? Yeah, I don't know. So this second part to me, I have to say I'm not a huge fan of this card. I'm sorry, jpastor. I love you, I love you and your congregation, but this card is just it's there's a lot going against this card. Let me just put it that way, okay? I would much rather play Demolish, and I don't even want to play Demolish. Demolish isn't even a good card, and this is just a worse Demolish. Except it's a lot weirder, and it's not really in the right color pair. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give this one like a 4 out of 10, I think. I like that you tried to do something with the flavor there. Excuse me, but doesn't. This one falls pretty short, in my opinion. So 4 out of 10 for Cover the Ground in Blood. A cool name for not a very cool card. And I'll see you guys next time.